You're live with BBC News. India's Supreme Court has been hearing final arguments on a number of petitions from same-sex couples aiming to legalise gay marriage. There are at least 18 gay couples who say not being able to marry deprives them of rights like opening a joint bank account or co-owning a house. India's government, which is against same-sex marriage, has urged the court to reject the petitions, but it will be a group of 5 judges which has the final say. Let's talk now to LGBT advocate and author Raga de Silva and her partner Nicola, who joins us now. Good to see you. This is a landmark and historic moment that you're involved in, Raga. You've got one of the petitions before the court. How did you get involved?
We are one of the interveners, Lucy, and I tell you, 18 or 20 years ago when I was in New Zealand and just outed by my mother, I remember thinking that, will this ever happen? Will I ever marry a woman? And of course, I did marry a woman in the UK last year, but someone said to me, will this ever happen in India? And I remember saying, no, not in my lifetime. So today is historic that we are actually sitting here and arguing and hearing both sides of the argument. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
So you've had that recognition here in the UK, Raga, but what would it mean to you if it was also recognised in India? How would it change your life?
Well, you know, as I have been saying that our marriage is not recognized in India. So although I'm legally married here, the moment I get on a plane to India, I become single again. So the rights completely are lost for us in India. So I don't have any access. None of our queer community anyway have equal rights, as you know, in India. So which means that we don't have access to any inheritance, any assets that we build jointly, anything, you know, even if I were to, you know, our community wants to adopt, we can't adopt a child. So many things will have a significant impact for us. All we're saying is give us equal rights.
Nicola, kia ora. I understand you're from New Zealand. What does it mean to you that it is recognised back at home, your marriage?
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think I think it was 2013 when same-sex marriage was recognised, and hopefully India will go the same way. I think it changed the minds of many New Zealanders. I was there when the homosexual law reform happened in the 80s during the AIDS pandemic, and there was a lot of homophobia, a lot of misunderstanding. And as time has changed and laws have changed, I think people have changed. Now it's sort of like more live and let live, you know what I mean? And hopefully that will happen in India too.
Are you hopeful, Raga, about the outcome?
Oh, I am very hopeful. You know, when I was listening to the Chief Justice of India this morning talking, and I just thought, wow, his voice itself gives me hope. And all of us we are feeling very positive. I'm really positive.
What is the feeling you get, though, from Indian society? I mean, the government is very much against this, and we've been hearing today they think this is just an obsession of the middle classes and that many ordinary Indians don't support that. What is your sense of where society is at with this in India?
You know, it's interesting that the government again, you know, filed an affidavit yesterday saying that it is this same-sex marriage or marriage equality is only for the elitist. And they've said that this is against Indian culture, it's against the society, it's going to create havoc in society. And I keep thinking, I got married to Nicola. I mean, society didn't get disturbed by it. There was no devastation. You know, similarly, there are a lot of couples like us, Lucy, living in India, in a relationship. They've been together 20, 30 years as well. So long-term relationships. They're not legally married, but nothing has really happened to society. So in India, the queer community feels that it is time for us to basically have equal rights. And we are not really worried about what the government says, because I think we have the society with us. And laws have to be first implemented. Society will, you know, come along. Society will accept those laws, accept us. And there is still a lot of discrimination against us. There's a lot of bullying against us. I believe that once you have laws in place, all those things will change and society will change along with it.
And Raga, what about practical things? What difference would it make? Things like opening a bank account together.
You know, Lucy, I have been married to a man before. I have twins from that relationship. My life as a heterosexual woman in a marriage with a man, an Indian man, was so different. I took everything for granted. We could have a joint loan, a joint bank account. There was nothing that I couldn't have, basically. Everything, including respect.
Lucy, I lived in India for some time. It was even difficult for us to rent a house together. I could never get a joint bank account with Raga. It was just difficult. And I think if this law changes, then all those things will change.
But there are many things. When there are inheritance laws, for instance, there are so many things that a couple need. If we build assets together, we need to have access to those assets, medical, decisions to be taken on behalf of each other. If something were to happen to us, those decisions we cannot take at the moment.
Raga and Nicola, really interesting to talk to you. We've been watching the court, actually. It's the live feeds, and many people in India, I think, have been logging on to take a look. And we're keeping across it. We'll come back to you when we hear a verdict. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing the story. Thank you.